So this is like a very informal any percent no major skips guide. This is being made mid-August in 2020, so by the time you watch this, there's probably a new skip. Definitely join the Yono Discord because anything new will be put there. Some of the stuff is new, so I won't be the expert on some of the stuff, but I am gonna try to at least give a route that the current route is, minus skip near the end that I'll mention, there'll be resources for doing that in the Yano Discord if you want to do that. But anyway, this is Yano and Celestial Elephants. It's a puzzle adventure game. Um, Actually, I should have my... Since I can do that, where is my capture for my controller? There we go. So I'll actually even make it a tiny bit bigger, just so it's a little bit easier to see, but I will have inputs on the screen if you need help with anything. So no major skips. The things you cannot do in no major skips is you cannot go immediately to Queen's Dungeon. You have to go there through Woolly Mountain. And you cannot do the train skip to skip to one of the areas early doing that. But there are other skips that basically skip entire worlds. So it's no major skips, but there's some pretty big skips in this. I personally like enjoy the category the most just because it's got a ton of really cool tech in it, and it's a nice length. When you're starting out with it, it's going to be like 20-30 minutes, and then as you get closer to better times, it'll be about a 15-minute run with loads. So there's a load remover. If you use live split, it should automatically be there, and you can put whatever splits you want in there for that, and it should take out loads for you. Anyways, so when you start the run, you're going to immediately press the start button during the cutscene to skip it. And then during the text, so there's two things you can do. You can bind spacebar to mouse wheel and just go through that, or you can mash, for me it's square and X. I guess it's A and X for Xbox controllers. But A or X is A for Xbox, or X for PS4 is your, or DualShock is your dash key, and square is your grab key, or X on Xbox. It's confusing because, but anyways, so you can mash through these, or you can bind spacebar to mouse wheel. Spacebar to mouse wheel is a little bit quicker and a little bit less strain on your wrists. So things to know: if you hold Y or triangle, you spin around, or you lock yourself in place, or if you tap it and there's an object to lock onto, I'll walk out here. If you press triangle or Y and there's something to lock onto, it'll snap Yana to there, which is important for a few things later on. But for the most part, I mean, you can spin if you want to. Spinning's very not important, but fun. But when you start the run, so again, you're just gonna mash start and then scroll wheel. You want to dash as you're turning. You want to dash, and you're gonna bonk against the door. You would actually want to bonk against the door because there's a thing called double dashing in this, which is when you enter a loading screen, or when you exit a loading screen. When this fade-in's happening, you can do inputs and the cooldown for it won't exist. So what I mean by that is you can, let's see if I can show it off. It's a little bit hard for this, but you're able to do these dashes where usually, so you see those two dashes there. Usually when you dash, there's a little slowdown afterwards, but for like the small amount of time when you enter a new area or new loading zone, through a new loading zone, you're able to dash twice, and that little cooldown section doesn't really exist. So it's faster to do that. It's something small to learn. There's a few rooms you shouldn't do it on because you want to be able to dash for something else, and we'll talk about those. But for this one, you want to dash into the door here and then enter it normally. So because if you dash into a loading zone, like if you dash into this, you're not able to do the double dashes when you come back through. How's it going, Fims? How's it going? It's His Majesty King Horse. Sorry, I keep trying to say that, and one of these times I'll get it right. This is pretty impromptu, so. Once you go through, or once you come back through here, you're gonna do these double dashes, and when you get to this bush, so there's a conversation here. If you walk up to her, it'll start. The old route used to be just break the rocks or go around the rocks or something. What you want to do is you want to aim for this space between the tree and the bush. So you just dash right into it, and you'll get wedged in there. And then you just kind of go around the tree, and you want to make sure not to go too far to the close side of this bush, closer to her, because then the dialogue will start and she'll just jump away. But you just want to walk along here. So the thing is, even though she hasn't moved, she's actually also here right in front of us. She's in multiple positions at once. Even though she hasn't jumped over here yet, she still has a dialogue here. So to avoid the dialogue, we're going to, I wouldn't use D-pad for this, because you kind of want to go mostly to the left, but slightly up. So you'll walk up here and then fall into the water. And then after you're done falling into the water, this is going to be a mess of a guide, but it's okay. I'll just do it all in motion. So you go around here, and then you just go straight down here. So, either way. So, it's a little bit easier to do in motion when you're used to it. So now you're down here. If you walk over to here, the dialogue will start. So you want to kind of hug this side here. So this block is kind of glitched out, so you can kind of vibrate if you want to. You're supposed to push this block onto here, but instead of doing that, you're going to hold about an up left-ish angle, mostly up, and then go around this corner, and then flip so you're holding a mostly right angle, and go down here. Then just dash. So dashing normally doesn't give you a lot of speed, but dashing off edges, as you can see, just rockets you forwards. So anytime you're falling off edges like this, you'll want to dash off of them. To get a little bit of speed. Before you hit these dandelions here, there's a third dialogue. There's no way to avoid it. There is a skip where you can, if you hit the B button or the whatever button on your controller makes you do this, whichever one makes you use the trunk. If you press that right as the conversation starts, like the frame it starts, you're able to move during it. It's like a really small thing, so don't really worry about it too much. But once the conversation starts, press whatever the button is that makes you blow your trunk, and the conversation will immediately will end. So regardless if you get it, you have to mash B to make sure that goes away. You just go across here. You can do a little dash across that edge. It's not super important, but it's a little tiny time save. So normally what you're supposed to do here is you're supposed to blow in this pinwheel, a platform comes over, you can ride it. And that's something you can do at the beginning if you're struggling with this. But what I would suggest eventually doing is, so you gain a bunch of speed when you dash off of an edge. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to make it all the way to that platform, not the platform itself, but to the grass on the side of it by dashing. So as we walk up here, we're going to kind of like fall off the side like this. I'll just kind of do the movement of it first. So you're kind of falling off right where the corner meets the platform right here. And now we're just going to dash as we do that. And you'll be sent across over to here. So just as you're falling off, as you're going to the part where the ramp meets the platform, you just want to dash, and it'll give you enough speed to get across here. It does take a little bit of getting used to the correct angle for that and kind of the way to do it. But if you do it as you're falling off the side of it, you want to dash before you fall off it, because it'll cancel your dash if you do it if you do it too late, because you'll run out of coyote time, I guess. And you're like half hanging off things, it doesn't always let you dash. So either way, so once you make it across here, either you do that platform or you dash across here. If you fall down, you have to go back, or you can technically try next to that bush. You can try to dash across the water and get over there. It almost never works. I wouldn't go for that. It's probably just worth resetting or walking back and trying again. So either way, once you're down here, I usually come through here and then dash, and then dash across here. And you saw I got a bunch of speed, and the camera actually starts lagging behind. I'm actually going to do the entire area all at once just to kind of show it off, but if you do that section correctly, the camera actually will just lag behind you. So all at once, go across there, walk along here, flip, dash here, Press B. You don't want to press it before you get there like I did, or you want to press it once the conversation starts. Dash across the edge like that. And you'll notice the camera's actually lagging behind because I'm getting enough speed. You can use your other analog stick to kind of move the camera if you do get to a point where you're going so fast that the camera is lagging behind. So you can just use your other analog stick to move it. And then we just push the block in place. And as you push the block in place, just immediately go upright and you can get on this platform before it moves. It's really not that difficult to do. As soon as you're done pushing it, just hold upright and there's no way to miss it. And then you just blow this pinwheel. Makes this platform go up and down. And you just wait here for this platform. You can sit here and spin as many times as you want. And then after that, you literally just hold upright and you just walk straight there. Don't dash into the loading zone here, because you do want to do double dashes here when you get. It's not super important to do them, but when you load in, do these 2 dashes. It's kind of nice because you have just enough time to do this dash here as well. Or actually, I'm not sure if you have enough time to do that. Anyways, so some ramps, if you dash at the base of them, it kind of gives you a little speed boost. Not all of them. I'll kind of try to point out the ones that I usually do it on, but usually in this section, just do little dashes up here and kind of send you along the way. So there's 2 things to do. I'll show the normal way of doing it, and if you're having any difficulty with the skip, you can do this. This is the normal way of doing it. You just get the water, you walk over here, and you splash them, and it starts some dialogue, and they go blah 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 blah. You can use your mouse wheel to just skip past all of that. He trips, it's hilarious. And you just walk forward. The way I would suggest doing it, or at least trying to learn how to do it, is the faster strat. That saves about 20 seconds or so, 15-20 seconds. Take this chicken. The chicken can be hiding behind here, by the way. It can be hiding like right here, so it can be hard to see. If you don't see the chicken, just walk along this and just press the grab button until you grab it. It's kind of hard to miss when you grab it. And then we're just throw the chicken. You can literally stand right here, use your D-pad and line it up like this. You can also just freehand it, but basically you want the chicken to be next to this other half slab. If you lose the chicken will respawn there, but you can also just grab this chicken. Like if you eat chickens, they come back. So you can never not do this trick unless you die. Well, you'll come back, but anyways. So you just literally just run against the chicken and you'll get put up here. Now this is where there's some people's controllers are 8-directional. I think most aren't. This is where some stuff starts getting a little bit harder without it, because you want to hold a very shallow angle here where you can be more risky with the angle as you get more comfortable. And I would suggest doing this until you're just slowly sliding to the right here. And as soon as you see Yono start like kicking his feet, because he does his normal walking when he's sliding against it, and once he starts kicking his feet back like he's running normally, just dash and you should be fine. So that's what I would suggest doing. I don't think this will let me back. Oh no, it does. Cool. I can show it off again. Good. So, again, real shallow angle. Just keep going. Because there's an invisible wall blocking them. So we're trying to get around this invisible wall. Just keep going, and then you just dash as soon as it starts. The feet start kicking back with the normal run cycle. And then it should be pretty manageable. There's another way of doing it where you whip around the corner and you blow your trunk. I've not personally gotten that able to work before, so I wouldn't completely suggest it, but you can definitely look into it if you want to. So this first area is pretty simple. Just dash whenever you get near one of these ramps. Use your analog stick because you're going to be off the camera with your dashes. So when I'll stand here. I'll wait for a second and not dash off of here so you guys can see. So there's these 2 enemies here. I would just walk straight down from this ramp. Just walk straight down and just go around them, and it's really easy to go around this bush. You just want to kind of turn and face it, and you kind of end up holding an just straight up here and slightly tapping to the right a little bit just to go around each of the bushes. So full speed. It'll be a little bit hard to see since the camera gets slid to the side, but just go here, whip around here, and then just kind of bounce on those and keep going. So you avoid putting out the fire there. So these spike cycles, there's no way to skip this cycle right here. We just wait for this and then walk along here. So an important part of things is when you dash, it'll be kind of hard to show off, probably. I can get a bunch of these around me maybe, and we'll see if we can have it happen. But Yono's hitbox kind of surrounds him. So you'll see when I dash, sometimes things behind me get hit. It's not super consistent, but what you'll want to do in this cave is if you have the ability to get like a snake on either side of you, it's good to do because there's a good chance like the one behind you might get hit as well. But you shouldn't go into like that barely worked. But you should never put yourself in situations where you're like looking too hard to get those double hits by having a snake behind you and in front of you. Really, the time it takes to set something up like that, usually it's just better to kill one of the snakes and keep going. But you just want to kill all 5 snakes one way or another. And once you get rid of all the snakes, this is a pretty good one. Yeah, I messed it up, but it's okay. So this keel spawn, you're supposed to use it over here, but what we're gonna do, so we've already done a lot of skips, but some key skips will start happening now. I'll show both the ways to do it. So we're gonna head back the way we came, and this skip's really easy. Just literally walk towards the pot, come back down. So this is a room that's very cycle based. I will show off the 2 different ways of doing this room. Though I will make a save just to... Oh, whoops. I accidentally deleted my key. Oh well. So that's important to know. If you have a key on your back and you load a save, even if it's a save where you had a key on your back, you'll lose the key. Keys don't save. Keys aren't permanent through saves. So for sections where you're sequence breaking keys, it's really important not to make mistakes because you're not able to always load a save to fix that issue. If you're supposed to have a key on your back and you lose the key, sometimes you have to load the save at the beginning of the section. Anyways, this one's not too bad. So, the very beginning of this room, no matter what you're doing, you blow that pinwheel, knock this guy out of the way. This is no matter which one of the 2 things you do. And then you're going to kill this guy, and you're going to use the key here. So this is where the things diverge. If you are... if you want to do the faster way of doing this, you're going to go in here. You're gonna come back out because that sets your save there, or it sets your location of where you entered the room to here. So if you fall into the water, you come back here, and then you're just gonna look to the right here and dash. Then you're gonna look here until you see how your body kind of snaps into the half slab, and that should let you go up here because you're kind of wedged in between the 2 blocks. And then you will walk along here. I'll even make a save here. You shouldn't make a save here. Well, you can make a save here if you want to, but I'm just making it just for my own safety. And then walk along the outside here, about like midway down here when you fall down here. You want to be on the upper part of the chest, so you can activate chests from on top of them. And what we're going to try to do is once the chest opens, the key will pop out and launch. We want to be on top of the key as it's launching. I'll try to show off the faster strat, which is you fall with the key into the water and grab it before it falls in, because if you do that, you'll actually respawn on the other side of the room with the key. If that doesn't work, it's fine. The key itself will respawn back where we were, and we can just go grab it. So, but I'll try to show this off. So that didn't end up working. That's okay. This is a pretty new skip, so I'm still getting used to it a little bit. Sometimes you'll do this dash and it just kind of rejects you a little bit. But yeah, you want to do it when get yourself stuck. And the dash itself does some interesting things sometimes, so we're gonna try that again. About here on it. So I wanted to fall in the water with it, but the key got in front of me a little bit, so instead I landed out here. If you grab the key in the water, you'll be sent right back to the door that you came in on, and you can just hold upright, and it'll take you straight into the door. If you fall here and the key is here, you just grab it and walk out. And that's how you would do this room for the faster strat. This is like the slower version of the faster strat, but it's still faster than doing this other way, but I will show the other way. To the other way, instead of going through this door, you're gonna come down here, push this block, and then blow against... The pinwheel cycle is a little bit different since I loaded a save, but you're gonna press lock on button and then blow at it when it comes around. And then push these blocks into place. So when you push this last block into place, okay, this guy should actually be in this corner. Here we go. Go in there now. No, he's not. Weird. Okay, so this guy should be in this corner right here. Oh, I messed that up. Oops. Because I hit the pressure plate. It played the cutscene, but so this guy should be in a slightly different location. Let me move him so he's where he's supposed to be. I forgot the fact that he would be somewhere weird. But yeah, he's gonna come here normally. So you'd use the key here, then you're to come down here on this block, push this into place, lock onto here. Once the pinwheel comes around, just blow it. Push this into place. Everything is great, everything's wonderful. So, you remember that cutscene? When I hit that pressure plate, a cutscene played. That cutscene, will stop you from moving, but the cycle is very, very tight for this. So what we want to do is we're going to push this, and as the right before the block, right before the block drops down, you want to dash, and that'll allow you to move during the cutscene. And during the cutscene, we want to move downwards towards where the water is. So I'll try to show this off now. You see I dash right as it starts and I can move during it. It's a small thing, like if there wasn't a cycle to beat, it would only save a second, but because this cycle for this platform is pretty tight, it instead saves a decent bit of time. So you just use the water on that, activate it. You don't want to move too far forward after you activate the chest, because the key, if you move too far forward, the key will actually land on you, or you won't be able to grab it. So you want to stay like midway on the platform, let it go over your head, and then grab it. And Yono can grab things that are pretty far below him, so you can have a little magnet grip with that. And you just walk towards the exit like before, but I'll show the faster way off one more time. Try to do it. So go up here, be careful on these corners, because these corners very easy to fall off of. Try to do the faster way this time, so come down here. It's a little bit too far forward. You don't want to be too far forward because then the fire will hit you. Pretty sure I'm right there. There we go. I think I missed it. Yeah, I missed it just barely. So if you grab the key a little bit early, the you'll respawn, but the key won't be with you. That can also happen if you get like a really big boost with it. But if you grab the key a little bit too high, like on the peak of the jump, or at the peak of the height of it falling, you can be a little bit too high up, and you finish grabbing the key before you hit the water. There we go. So you see, as I'm about to hit the water, I grab the key, and then it takes me right to the door. And before the camera even pans over, you can just hold upright, and it takes you straight into the door. So either way, no matter what happens, we're gonna have the key. I'm gonna bring it over here. Through this door, you can do a little double dash and then throw it. So we want the key to be here right in front of these bushes. It can be wedged in between these two bushes, but I usually just push into this corner here. So keys have a fun property of being like little mini ramps that you can bring with you. One thing is just be careful don't to throw it over the bush, because you'll just lose it. And if you lose the key, obviously, since you can't load saves with keys, you're just gone. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna push into the corner, and you can just hold right here, and you'll see like you slowly gain height, very, very slowly. And eventually you go up. To speed that up a little bit, do a little like wiggles back and forth right on like the corner of it. You don't want to do like wiggles over here. You want to do it like right on the corner of the key, like where the little point is there. That's where you want to wiggle along, and it'll get you up a lot quicker. So you just kind of wiggle the analog stick a little bit. You don't want to do like, you don't want to go everywhere with it like this. You just want to do like little small wiggles. And you'll get up here. So don't grab the key from here. As you can see, like I'm already sliding. If you grab the key, it slides you straight off the edge and you lose the key. Turn around, look at the key, grab it, put your back to the tree so it doesn't slide you off. And then if you just go in the space between the bush and the tree, it just pops you up here. So we avoid going around the entire room. We just cut through instead. And then we're gonna walk here. Do a double, so I wouldn't do a double dash here. If you do a double dash, you hit this wall, and then you usually can't dash here. You just don't have enough time. So I just dash once, dash here, and walk across these barrels because it gives you a tiny bit of extra speed. It's like not a lot, but it's a little bit extra speed. You have to wait for these cycles, but be careful if you fall in the water with the key, you lose it. So just walk across here. Pretty easy to follow along with this. So this rock here is supposed to have a key on it, but because we walked in the room with a key, it actually doesn't spawn a key. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually use this key here, because it's the only way to get through this door. And instead of walking all the way along here to get to that door, you can, once you get to about where this bridge starts, you can pretty much just turn right and then dash and get over here. I would wait a little bit. I would dash from a little bit further on the bridge. That was kind of closed, so. But if you leave the room and come back, the key's here now. Because now we don't have a key on our back, so it's fine to spawn this key. The way I would suggest doing this is just like kind of go here along this wall and then pretty much just dash to the right. And it'll if you go in this corner and then dash to the right, the key will get knocked down. If you do this and you notice that Yono dashes but doesn't go anywhere, your hitbox might be broken, and this is important. Your hitbox can get broken if you dash against walls and stuff. You'll notice that your hitbox isn't doing what it's supposed to, and when you try to dash against things, sometimes you get like these failed dashes. If that happens to you, wait until the next moment that you have where you don't have a key on your back or anything, and then just, I won't show it off now, but just quit to the main menu and then just load the latest save, and your hitbox will fix itself. So just keep that in mind if that ever happens to you. And this is like the first point where it's actually important because you're not able to dash against this. You can also just break this rock and then grab the key, but knocking it off like this is a little bit faster. So just grab this and keep going. Do some double dashes if you want. So the reason we're doing this, where we sequence broke a key out, is the final puzzle. So I'm doing this the normal way basically. The final puzzle here takes forever to do. So instead of doing that, we're just gonna enter this room. This is how I do this. Just hit him, and then just walk to his right side and use the key. And then just mash the trunk blowing button to knock him out of the way before he hits you. You can also just kill him and then use the key, or knock him out of the way and then use the key or something like that. But that's pretty consistent for me for not getting hit as long as you walk far enough to the right side of him. So you can just walk across this and break it. Sometimes it has health. And since if you do the faster strat, you'll at least take half a heart of damage. It's nice getting health from that, so it's just a freebie that you can do, so there's no reason not to grab it. Alright, and then we are going through, this is the end of Hedgehog Forest. You can do a little dash here to get a tiny bit of speed. Just be careful. Don't hug the right side, so don't hug the right side of this ramp, because you'll see you get stuck here. Just go on the left side of the ramp. I know it's like, technically it's not the straightest line to go, but the tree here will catch you if you get too close to it. And then just do a little dash. Not that, that's bad. Little dash, there you go. You can get a decent bit of speed off of it. And we are now in Nightingale City, which is the main hub. This is where the game ends. If you're doing any percent, well, if you're doing any percent, the route diverged a while ago for doing any percent. If you're doing any percent, when you get here, this is where the game ends, basically. You skip immediately to the final dungeon. And once you do that, the run is minutes long for any percent compared to the 15 minutes for this run. So
it's like 2.5.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 minutes. So if you're interested in that, I mean, I won't have a guide for that, but A little bit self-explanatory, but also most of the skips are explained somewhere in the Discord. So anyways, we're gonna make our way here. These guards are blocking the way because we're supposed to talk with the queen. And once you talk with the queen, they move out of the way. But instead of doing that, we're gonna walk into this room here. So once you enter this room, just immediately pause, move one down, press X or A twice, and then just immediately turn around and leave. So just that. You can also press, so after it pops up with this, you can just press pause again and it clears that window early. So it lets you go just a tiny bit faster. And then literally just go the exact back way you came. So at this point, you cannot make a manual save anywhere. If you make a manual save, you lose that manual save you just made because there's only one manual save. So do not make manual saves if you want to do the final trick of the run. For practice, you can edit saves, and there's a guide on speedrun.com for this game that has a save editing guide. And you can just edit one of your other saves to take you places, but you want to keep the manual save where it is. Anyways, so we're going to do some skips and fun stuff in Nightingale City. So the consistent setup for this is just, once you're anywhere against this wagon here, just hold left on your D-pad until you get here. So I'll just do it in one go real quick. So go here, hold left, and then right as your back legs are leaving there, right as your back legs are leaving, you do your dash. So you just go dash, and then after that you'll want to hold upright. I think you can technically, I don't know if you can do it on D-pad, but yeah, you can literally just on your D-pad, as soon as you make the dash, just start holding upright or up left, sorry. But yeah, just go here, dash as your back legs are leaving there, and then just go up here. So the thing with staircase, I didn't mention it yet, there's a staircase here. When you're going up staircases, you want to kind of wiggle up them. You don't want to walk up them. If you wiggle up them, you go a little bit faster. The fast way of going up staircase actually is to go in like a straight diagonal line along them. But for this staircase, it's a lot easier just to wiggle a little bit. Just wiggle forwards. So anyways, we skip those guards. You do a little double dash if desired. This staircase, you don't have to wiggle up. You go the same speed no matter what. So wiggling's just a tiny bit slower then. These NPCs are random and they can do stuff like this where they just block you, but they'll just wander around. Whatever way you go, you just want to avoid these guys and come over here, grab this chicken, avoid them a little bit, and then throw it closer to over here. You can either push it against here and just walk up it, or like the safest way of doing it is just putting it in this corner and then walking against it. But either way, you'll get up on this planter here and you can just get around, and that is the end of Nightingale City. So we have Trollmouse Forest, first skip. It's easier to do with momentum, like if you stop and keep trying to do it. If pretty much you get it first try or you struggle with it a little bit. But as your feet are about to touch the wood right here, you want to dash up towards that half slab that's there. So you just want to go whoop like that, and then keep holding forward like I didn't just do there. But you just want to dash there and just hold up and you'll be fine. So, right before you touch the wood, just dash straight up. Easy peasy. Lets you get around this gate. I don't know the right way of doing it. I think you push something on the pressure plate. Anyways. So we have this here. This is going to be a kind of a weird... So this is where your hitbox being broken is important as well. So if this skip isn't working for you, try quitting out and there's mashing to get here like this. If your hitbox is broken. And then so you'll press this lever. And we want to throw this key into that top right corner. I like that. I'm going to throw it up to about here. You want it to be touching the green texture that's up here. If it's not close enough to the corner, this won't work. But once it's set up here, it's pretty easy. You just look in this corner and then you just dash towards it. And then wiggle a little bit and you'll be on top of it. Once you're on top of it, it's really easy. Just wiggle against the wall and you're good to go. And then you just grab it through the wall. So we've already sequence broken a key in this area, but we're actually not going to use it for anything too devious. We're just gonna, you can do little dashes there, and that guy's gonna miss you. As long as you hold forwards, you will not get hit by that guy. So we're gonna use the key here, in your health right now, you could have like half a heart of damage. You could have like a whole heart of damage if you hit by the fire. Your health is pretty important right now, and I'll talk about some safety stuff you can do to avoid things later on and taking damage. But anyways, so it's just something to be mindful of as you're entering here. So use the key. So as soon as you walk into here, you want to, so there's a cycle for all these little traps that are shooting. You want to double dash. This is the one point where it's pretty vital to be able to do it. I'll try to do it. So if I don't double dash, this is how I would recommend doing it. You wait for this to go by. You go here. Oops, let me do it again. So if you don't double dash, kind of wait here on the bottom of the ramp for this to go by. You kind of want to cut that corner with the ramp there, where you're walking across here. Oops. But you want to walk along here, so you don't have to wait for those spike cycles. So let me actually just do it at full speed now. This is a slightly slower way of doing it. If you can't get the double dashes to work, just wait for this. Go up here. That thing will sometimes hit you in the butt. Depends. You'll probably get hit by one of these as you go by, but your health should be okay-ish. Let me try to do it one more time, a tiny bit cleaner. It's been a little bit since I've not done the double dashes. So I'll wait for that. I'll go to here. Wait for this one. Get bumped by that, and then go. Oops, I accidentally. I will do a quick save edit real quick to send us back to where we were, so we can do some more lovely showing of how to do things quickly. Why is it my auto? Oh, it's because my autosave. Oops, I opened the wrong save. 1 second. They're all in weird orders. It might send me to the wrong room, but it's okay. Okay, there we go, cool. So if you do double dash at the beginning, you can beat this cycle right here, and then keep going. You're gonna dash as this happens, and I'll explain what just happened there in a second, and then dash you across there. Our health kind of sucks, but that's okay. But an important thing is that if you dash as one of these little green bullet things that's coming in, they won't knock you backwards, and if you dash at like just the right time, they won't do damage to you either. That's going to be important for this room. As you can see, it's literally a hallway of there's a thing shooting at you, and you have to, usually you hit this lever right here, and there's a box you can push, and you can push it in front of you and avoid getting hit from it. That's a little slow, so instead what we do is walk up here, and as you're going off of this, you want to straighten, not completely straight up or straight upright. You want to do slightly more to the right, because you want to land in a little gap here. It takes a little bit to get used to, but you just go up like this. Anytime it's about to come in, you want to dash, and you also want to dash as you enter here, because if you dash when you enter here, you're able to move during the small little cutscene that plays. I don't know why the cutscene plays, but it does. So as you're going through here, dash. Sometimes it just refuses to work, but where you are able to avoid that damage there, even if you time it right. But as long as you're avoiding the knockback and your health is not like terrible, you should be able to make it through there, and then just walk down here. But all the low health we have is probably fine because I'm probably just gonna show up the slightly safer way of doing the fight later on. So we're gonna go up this way, and this skip's kind of silly, kind of annoying. If it annoys you, like, it kind of annoys everybody. But what we're wanting to do is, usually you'd use a key to skip this. You put the key in this corner here, and you wiggle up here, and you avoid it. What we're going to do instead is we're going to dash, and like as your head gets about here, there's a little notch on the rock. As your head gets here, you want to look towards this corner and dash. You kind of want to go like that. That was a little bit too much to the left. But you want to dash here, and you should pop up like this, and you'll be able to get around it. The unfortunate thing is it's like, it's not the most pleasant trick. It's sometimes very mean. If you can get stuck there, like I got on that corner, you can kind of wiggle around and get on the rock. But this corner can, or not corner, this skip can sometimes work first time. Sometimes it takes a few tries and it's just not working out for you. But even if it takes you 4, 5, 6 tries, it's still faster than doing it the old way with the key. So no matter what, you're saving time technically. Unfortunately, it's can be a little bit wonky, especially when you're starting out. So if you're having difficulty with it, it's okay. But just dash as you get to that little notch that's in the rock and aim for this corner right here, and that helps with your consistency a little bit. So we're gonna go over here and push this barrel here. You're supposed to fill this barrel with water, and as you see, this barrel isn't weighed down enough to press this pressure plate. Like Yono can press this one to show off, but it's like it's supposed to press this down, but it's not full of anything. It's supposed to fill it with water. I honestly don't remember how you're supposed to do that. Is there like a water thing here? Yeah, there's a little water thing here. It's slow. What we're gonna do is you want to do like this little wiggle until you see the pressure plate activate, and then you're gonna walk away, and you'll see that it's now still pressing it down, even though we haven't filled it with water, and even though we're not there anymore. So it puts it in a little bit of a weird state where there's 2 objects on top of it at the same time, and I don't think it's a little bit confused about, because you're never supposed to have 2 objects on top of a pressure plate at the same exact time. So I think it's in a confused state where it's like, okay, something's weighing me down. Okay, an object left, but I still have an object on me, and so there's no reason I shouldn't be in the state of being weighed down still. I'm imagining it's something like that for getting confused with that. Hey Vis, how's it going? We were just talking about your lovely skip. Next here is this pressure plate. You can take this as risky as you want. You can wait here, let it go all the way here, and then blow in that pinwheel and keep going. Or you can, like, you know, just do this, and the second there's a smidge of it there, the only problem is you have to be very precise with when you blow in the pinwheel, or else you fall in, especially when you're at half a heart like I am right now. So I will show off the safer way of doing this fight. The less safe way of doing this fight is just to run in and keep hitting them over and over again. The safe way of doing this fight is hit this guy and then just hide your head in here, hit this guy, and you just go. Everything's fine. So you don't want to push this enemy against a wall. If you push them against the wall, and then a bunch of health drops once the fight's over. If you're low on health, you can grab it. Obviously, it's faster just not to grab it, but if you need some safety stuff, go for it. But you don't want to push the enemy against a wall. And yeah, there's also there's a new thing with using enemies to boost over this fight prematurely and to complete it early, which is still kind of being worked on with consistency-wise, but that is potentially a thing that'll happen, as you can actually use the enemies to boost yourself out of this fight early. But I would suggest doing this fight for now until that becomes consistent. So definitely, like I said, check out the Yono Discord and see if we figured that out. But for this fight, just don't push them against a wall when you kill the final enemy, because the game seems to do some odd things if you push them into a corner and kill them. It sometimes will send you all the way back to the start if you do that, so just be cautious with that. So there's a couple of ways to do this next room. I don't think this shuffle, the Savage shuffle around the half slab here is consistent in terms of having a setup for working with it, but the premise of it is you want to tap left until, and you can use keyboard for this. I think I was starting to use it, but you want to, let me fall all the way down first. You load a save as you take damage. The damage will transfer over to the save for some reason. But the premise of it is you want to tap here until you start sliding and then hold up. As you see, I loaded the save and it transferred the damage to it. So you want to go here, and then as you fall, you want to hold up. That was my own fault there. But this, and then go up that. And then sometimes you go on the other side and it's great. It's kind of wacky. One different way to do it, that is slightly more consistent. So you activate this switch, then you go on here, go about halfway on it, and lock onto it. And you activate it and it bounces you around, and usually you end up here. Sometimes you fall off and have to redo it though. The completely safe, like you don't want there to be anything consistent in your run ever thing, is activate the switch. Do that because it's cool, but after you do that, so the 1000% consistent way would be to do that, do this, and then leave, which is slow, but like you'll never fall into the abyss or anything, or nothing will go wrong. But you know, it's a little bit slower. But if you're having trouble with both of those other methods, that's a way to go with it. So don't double dash when you start this room, because it actually messes up things with the trap shooting. If you double dash into it, the enemy won't die to the trap. So you just want to walk forward, dash off here, dash twice, kill them on that, grab both the health from there without even the drops are random, and sometimes health will just fall on you, which is kind of nice. But so if you do accidentally double dash into this room and then do this guy will sometimes not get hit. He'll get hit like that. If that happens, let him swing at you like that and have him miss, and then just attack the other guy. But yeah, if you fall off here, dash twice. Sometimes it still kills him. But yeah, just let him swing at you. Preferably don't let him hit you, like he hit me, but the best way usually is just to dash off that ramp there and kill both of them. Pretty easy fight. No real danger to it. So this is the final section. It's nice to be able to double dash in this, so I'll show off the way to do that. Double dash towards him, have him swing and miss. Push the skull, have him swing and hit. Let me try to do it real clean. There you go. And then you just push the skull into here. If you're struggling with it, just do stuff like this. Just like blow him away. Push the skull, gets near, and just blow him away. Just keep doing that until the skull gets in the corner and go up. You can technically, so the skull doesn't need to go against the corner. If you're blowing him away here, you can technically just push it up like against the rock here and you're fine. He'll still be able to swing at you sometimes if you do that. So like the safest way is like if you sit in this corner, he won't hit you. I mean, I could probably bait him into hitting me, but if you're sitting in this corner, he just like, he forgets you exist, I guess. But either way, so swing, miss. I kind of move towards him to bait him to swing and miss, and then you just go up on this rock and leave. So that is Trollmoss Forest. That is all done with. That is like one of the longer sections in the run, because we're about to get a bunch of sections done real quick. There's a boss in this section. If you look at the splits for this is an 11-second split. This is very easy to do. This is actually like probably, for the amount of content it skips, because it skips an entire dungeon and a boss, it's probably like easiest skip. Pretty simple to do now. So I'll run through the history of this very quickly. They used to blow this skull all the way up here and use it to get on these flowers and skip here. Then the strat became to push this skull, because it actually ends up being faster, here, and you would push it against this wall, and you push it all the way over here, and get it all the way across here. Yo, thank you for the 12 months. My goodness. Congratulations on the entire year. And the alert is below. Thank you, hug_dispenser, for that. But we used to use the skull here and then pop up here and just leave. There's an even easier way to do it, because we're in the golden age of Yono speedrunning. So the way to do it now is go down here like you're going to use this skull, and then just hold upright to get yourself in place. So I mean, it's really easy to do. Just upright, and then you're going to hold down as you dash into that, and then hold upright. And then just switch to up left, and you'll snap into here, and then dash, and keep holding upright, and you just go straight through. Very easy skip. Extremely consistent. Always works if you do it the right way. We'll go through it again. Just upright, So you're gonna hold to the right, and then as the dashing animation happens, you hold up right, then you switch to up left, then you just dash and keep holding up left, and you go straight through. Easy, simple. Just walk straight out. You skipped an entire like 15-20 minutes of content. Easy peasy. So we have Acorn Woods. Acorn Woods is like a intermediary zone to get you to the robot like hub and the boss that's there. It's got its own dungeon. We're gonna skip both that and this area at the same time because this is no major skips, obviously. The way I have a pretty consistent way of doing the so there is tilting this game. If you dash up or down a ramp, or I think it's just mostly up. If you dash up a ramp and you don't input any directions, Yono will start to, as you dash more and more against walls and corners, Yono will start to tilt upwards. And if Yono is like facing here and tilting upwards, if you flick backwards and then back forwards, Yono will launch into the air and you get some height and you can do some cool stuff with it. So the way I do it, so you're just gonna go up here. And this is pretty consistent. I use keyboard for this just because it's a little bit easier for doing it. So move up until you get to this notch. And while you're still holding W, start tapping the A key. And you're gonna go until your ear is just past the wood. Like you can see the crease of the bottom crease of the ear is just past the wood. And now you can just dash. And sometimes it gets you stuck in this corner. Let me do it again. I think I went a tiny bit too far. But you're gonna keep going, keep going, keep going. Out to there. So while you're moving, you can see the crease of it's kind of past the wood. And now you just dash and keep dashing. And you'll notice, and I'm using my mouse wheel for this just because it makes, you don't have to mash the dashing key anymore. So you'll see Yono just keeps tilting more and more. Do not do any directional inputs while this is happening. You can go about as far as you want with this, but this is about as far as Yono will tilt. And this is like the safest way of doing it, but you can do it when Yono's less tilted and he'll still get over. So we're going to, with the analog stick, go backwards, like he's facing forward, so we're gonna go backwards and then immediately straight forwards again. And Yono will just go straight up and you can go over this wall. So that setup should work for you with using the keyboard and setting it up with the ear crease. That should be like pretty much, I would say like 95% consistent for that. So I think that'll work out for people pretty well. So we're now in Woolly Mountain. You're supposed to melt this, any of these snowmen, you're supposed to melt them with chili peppers. But what we're gonna do is the space between the bush and the snowmen you can sneak through if you dash. You can't do it while you're just, if you run straight against it and dash, nothing will happen. You have to have a little bit of space between it, and even then it's a little bit weird, but you want to get it where you kind of clip in between. So you want to line yourself up with that space between the two of them. Maybe even a little bit towards the snowman, and then just dash in that space there. You can take a couple of tries with it, but once you kind of get the feel for where to dash at, and just make sure when you dash, you don't stop holding forwards. You have to hold forwards the entire time you go through the bush, that little space in between. If you don't do that, you'll phase into it and then get pushed out the wrong direction. You want to keep holding forward so you get pushed out this way. All right, so next skip. Should I show that? Hey, Bigelow, thank you for the host. Hope you're doing well. Hope your speedrunning endeavors today went well. I'm doing a little bit of a guide on Yono speedrunning, so if you're interested in that, people hang out. The way we used to do this is you would push this block into here. You'd push it over here, and this is like, if you're having trouble with the other way of doing this is a legitimate way of falling back on if you're struggling. But you push it into here, and you can't go this way with for some reason Yono can fit in this space, but Yono can't fit here. Yono gets stuck. So you have to go around actually. And then just hold upright as you melt this, and you can get up here, and it's easy. You just bonk this, and you're good to go. Instead, the new way of doing this is you wanna be inside this single tile right here. You don't wanna, if you're like too far here, when you do this, your dash can do weird things, but you wanna be pretty much inside of this block. Move straight ahead into it. And then, oh, I'm floating, my goodness. But you want to look, I use D-pad for this, but you want to look down right and then dash. You don't want to dash quite as early as I did. Look upright and then dash, and it'll launch you over here where these bushes are. And you should land on these bushes here. Now to get on here to this tile, this half slab here, it's a little bit weird sometimes. I aim for like the top left part of it, like right here, and sometimes you don't get across. You just want to wiggle a little bit, just wiggle, tiny little wiggles, and it'll get you up. Don't do big wiggles because you'll just fall off. Tiny wiggles, little baby wiggles. And then after that, it's pretty easy. You just platform these bushes, just walk straight across with confidence, and you will not fall. If you don't have confidence and you don't walk straight across, it will not work. Straight across. Just believe in yourself. And you just go here and hit that. So I'll do that real quick. More time. Look there. Go across here. Wiggle or not wiggle. Go across with confidence. Dash here. And then we're gonna go up here towards this platform and leave. Yes, anything with Yono is good content. I agree with that. So there's a couple ways to do this room. I haven't gotten a consistent setup for this, but one thing you can do is completely avoid this chest over here and dash here. I actually got the good tilt, so it'll be very quick to show off. You can dash here on this ramp. Sometimes you'll tilt upwards and you can just go over this and just leave. If you get it, it's real quick and real nice, and it makes you look like you know what you're doing. Usually it doesn't tilt you upwards like that. Usually it like tilts you downwards or doesn't give you a tilt at all. Instead, this is usually what I do. You push this block here. Yono does some sick parkour across this bush. And then you want to just use this key. If you walk, so if you use the key while you're up against this gate, sometimes you clip through the gate. Sometimes you do what I just did, which is get launched for no reason. But either way, just use the key on here and just walk through here. So this is another snowman section. Do not get near this chili pepper. You can get like really close to it. So you see those 4 tiles surrounding the chili pepper, just don't go in those. You can go pretty much anywhere else. Anywhere around it. You can get very close to the chili peppers, but if you get too close to it, enemies spawn. You don't want that. So just do like a small circle around, no, slightly less small circle around it. Just a little small circle around, and then go up here. If you spawn the enemies, it's not too bad because they won't chase you onto this ramp. So you can still do the skip. But you want to, this is another snowman skip. It's a little bit weirder because it's on the ramp, but you want to dash kind of uprightish with the analog stick and wedge yourself in between the space between these two and dash through here. Takes a tiny bit of getting used to. You can technically melt the snowman if you want to. You can be a monster and do that, but I wouldn't suggest that. It's a little bit slower. So we don't have a key, so normally you'd use a key in this little corner right here, and you would wiggle your way up here and leave. The slightly easier way to doing it is just as your feet are touching the top of this wooden ramp, you just dash, and it gives you enough height to get over this half slab and just skip the gate anyways. So just dash over here. You're supposed to get a key here, but I mean, if you remember anything from earlier, pots are great for just going over half slabs, so just push it against there. Yeah, being a monster in this speedrun is slower, so we don't do it. The cycle is really easy to hit, so just get on here. And this is as simple as it looks. You just wiggle against the corner of this and just go up. Just straight up. Straight up. Straight up. You just, it's not a very hard skip to do. You just look up towards the corner and you leave. Don't dash at the beginning of this room. If you dash at the beginning of this room, I've not done it in forever, but you get wedged in there and you lose health and you look dumb. Don't look dumb. Do smart things. So just wait for this platform and go up here. So now here's the final challenge of Woolly Mountain, and this can be difficult as you're getting used to doing it. So our goal, we want to get there, that little bottom section where there's a gap and there's supposed to be a bridge there. But we don't want to actually put the bridge there or like do anything actually. So what we're gonna do is we're going to fall off this edge, and as we're falling off, we're going to tilt ourselves to look up towards where that bridge is and then dash. So you're going to go off of it and then look that way and then dash. That's what we're doing. So go this way and look that way and dash. So like that, and then you go. You can do a dash at the beginning as well to get yourself a little bit closer. Use the double dash like that. But it can be a little bit challenging. Sometimes you get stuck right on the edge of the bridge there. If you wiggle, you can get yourself up. But you want to go about bottom left on the analog stick, and then as you're about to fall off, immediately flick upwards to look up left instead of down left, and to dash across as you're going. And you should pick up enough speed to go across. If not, then give it a few more shots. It takes a little bit of getting used to kind of like the snapping motion of flicking upwards, flicking upwards and then dashing. But once you get used to that, it can be pretty manageable to do. But it is one of the more challenging to execute skips in this section. So we have the queen here. Just either use your mouse wheel to just spam spacebar, or mash A and Y, or X and square. Just go through that. For this conversation, you don't have to do that. Just press B, press whatever your trunk blowing button is, and it'll skip it, and you get greeted with this lovely cutscene. Alright, now we're in Queen's Dungeon. This is the wackiest part of the run. There's a lot of challenging stuff in here, so this might take a little bit to get through, but I think it'll be good. So, she's a peanut here. When you have a power-up, like these peanuts, you see Yono moves much slower. But once you use all the peanuts, Yono moves quickly again. So, after you use the peanut down here, just shoot them upwards. If you shoot too close, if you shoot like here and then look up slightly, it'll snap you to it, which you don't want. So make sure to shoot here and then look like up this way so that it doesn't try to auto aim you towards it. But we're gonna go here. Don't let them free. They're criminals, just like us. So when this room starts, you have this dialogue. You can use mouse wheel if you want, but I just mash because the time it takes you to do it. And you notice once you hit this guy, his animation breaks if you hit him too quickly, which is fine. It doesn't matter. Their animation breaking does nothing except makes them look silly, so don't worry if that happens. So just mash. And you want to get on their left side and just hit them into this corner where this barrel is. You just want their body to be vaguely over here. Also, his health is stuck here. Nice. I can't get it. Health isn't too important, but you can get hit sometimes. So if you are one hit away, I think they do about 1.5 hearts of damage. Because you're supposed to get like health upgrades and stuff, which we have not been getting. But once he's in this corner right here, these enemies don't disappear when you kill them, which is really nice because as you can see, I can step up here like this. But we need the key, so we're going to use this, grab it. If you throw it from about here, the key will go. You actually want it to, you see how it fell into that corner between the two barrels? It's exactly where you want it to be. So let's say you don't push it, you don't throw it correctly and it's in this corner. Approach it from like the left side and push it into here. It might seem silly. It's like, why do you want it in this little corner? Oh, not there. Whoops. But so if it falls in here, it's great because you want to be on the left side of it and you just want to push it into place. And when you push it into place, you actually gain some height and it makes it much easier to get on top of here, because if you don't do that, you have to do this, and you notice I'm not really gaining height very quickly. It's taking forever, and it will just take forever to do this. So I would always recommend pull it over here, and then push it into place, and then wiggle and get up here. It makes it 1,000 times quicker. And then just bring the key with you. You can dash down here, but don't dash into the door, because that can cause soft lock sometimes where the dialogue doesn't start. Again, okay, don't do what I just did. Well, I can't reset the room, but do not throw your key. But so you want to focus on one of them, just go and kill them, then use your key, kill the other one. It doesn't really matter when you use your key, but if you're nearby the lock and the guy's not going to kill you, just hit him. and we're gonna take the key with us. So just kill these two. Doesn't matter where you kill them. We don't care where their bodies are. So next room, we should have the key with us now. Key's supposed to spawn there in that room that's right there, but it did not because we brought a key with us. So the key does not. It won't let there be two keys starting in the room at the time. So we actually have to come back and leave. You can do a little bit of a cool double dash there if you time it correctly. Then we're just gonna come back and get this key. So there's a new skip that's evade found right here. So the way I do it is hit him 3 times, and then I'm going to blow this enemy into this corner. Hit this. You can either wait for him to move or just hit him and hope he's moving by the time you get him in this corner. If an enemy gets stuck on top of here, you can just hit this twice and it'll drop him down. But no matter what happens, no matter when you hit them and all the other stuff, you want there to be a guard's body in this corner. And it's really simple at this point. You just look left and you just go up. I don't know if it works if you do on the D-pad. Okay, it doesn't. So you want to actually like physically turn left and it'll pop you up here. It's pretty consistent. You just do it. Okay, now it's not working for some reason because I jinxed it, but if you look left, it should pop you up. If not, then just get off their body and then go back on it and then turn left and it should bring you up here. And you just drop down. So this is kind of a complicated room, but just know if you hit the ceiling, if you go past the as high as you're supposed to go in a room, the game will send you back down to the bottom of the room, like to the base floor of it, but it will keep your momentum. But any objects you're holding, like any objects on Yono's back, will disappear. So to prevent that, we are going to go here, and you can just look straight left and just chuck it. You don't want a key to be right in the center like that particularly. You kind of want to throw it off to the side, but it's kind of it's a small thing. It's not super important. And then just hit this knight that's right here to flip the things here. You want to throw this TNT as you get about halfway down the stairs and just sit here, and then it'll flip the things again. This is where the trick's gonna happen. So just wiggle your way into this corner. So hold up on the D-pad, and there's kind of a rhythm to this, and you have to sit in this room and learn it a little bit, but it's not too difficult. You're gonna let go of up on the D-pad, and then like just a tiny bit after you let go of it, you're going to hit the lock-on button, which is going to flip you towards this, and then you're going to hit the interact button. So you're going to go here, just like that. Now sometimes it launches you perfectly into the cage, and sometimes it does what happened with me, where it launches you right in front of it. So you'll see we kind of get launched a little bit, and then at the end, if you are on the outside of the gate, you want to maneuver yourself into it, and if you're already inside the gate, you just want to go straight up and come back down. So pay attention to that while it's happening. Sometimes you have to actually kind of navigate Yono over the fence. But then you just want to grab the key and leave. Don't forget to grab the key, because if you leave the key and come back, the key will not be here. So, okay. So there's a couple ways to do this. I would honestly suggest for new people, throw this immediately. Key will put itself kind of in place. And you just knock this dude out of the way, hit this, he'll swing at you and miss. And then you can just use this, you can kind of use this key to get up here. I don't particularly like it, but I have a weird setup that's less consistent, so you'd go over here, hit this, have this guy swing at you. I just look straight down, and before I get to the staircase, I let it kind of slide like this, and then you go on the stairs and then go up here. The reason you do that is, or the reason you do any of this is if you tried to do a normal key boost against this ice, it takes a while to do, and also the key wiggles around a whole bunch, so it's really easy to fall off of it. So by kind of doing that, I'm just gonna blow this guy out of the way because he's kind of annoying. So if you set it up like this, where it's next to the stairs, you can get on the stairs and get like halfway on top of it before you even pushed against the ice. So you've already completed like half the climb before you've even started doing it. So it makes it a little bit easier. Be careful, don't move while you're grabbing the key. You want to like look at the key, stop like have no momentum at all, and then grab it. If you have momentum, it's very easy to slide off of the ice because it'll actually keep you going afterwards. If you fall on this part of the ice and the key's on the other part of it, you can push these ice blocks to get them out of the way, which can be nice. So if that does happen, as long as the key isn't blocking both ice blocks, you can kind of push them out of the way. So go into this corner, really easy. Just pretty much hug this wall, hold the bottom right angle, and just throw it whenever you want. Push it into the corner, and then you're just gonna wiggle against it. You can't see it, but just wiggle, 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 and then you're good to go. And just grab it. Be careful if you look too far to this side instead of here, you'll interact with this and you get little confetti, which is kind of fun, but slow. So don't do that unless you want confetti. And then just head through here. Boring room, nothing's here. You want to look. So actually, ooh, geez. No, I lost my key. Well, that sucks. Well, I will show a backup then, because I know my backup to save our position right now. So normally you have a key. You just walk into this room, bonk him, and just keep bonking him downwards. And you want him to be just about here where he is, and then you can get yourself up. If you don't kill him in the correct spot, like if you don't put him close enough to this half slab that's here, what you want to do is you want to leave out of that top right door, come back into it so his body despawns, and then throw the key towards this half slab so you can do a little key boost up it. You just have to be careful that you don't leave the key behind when you do that. But anyways, you should have a key now, but like I said, I'll show a backup if you do lose your key during that room for some reason. So normally you just go here and use your key. If you lose your key, there is a backup you can do here. Go into this corner, face the fire. Don't face the fire, face the other direction. Face away from the fire, it'll boost you up here. You get here, you can do a little boost to get up there, but otherwise you just walk across into here. And just make this guy regret everything. Just keep hitting him repeatedly. Takes 8 hits to kill. Takes a while, but you can grab this key and keep going if something bad like that happens. And going back's pretty easy. You just do a little bit of a jump there and just go. And then you're good to go. So if that does happen, there is a backup for that to know. Okay, so I'll show the normal way of doing this because the harder way of doing this can be a little bit weird, but I would suggest doing it the faster way, but I'll show the slower way just in case. So you want to hug the right wall, because if you don't hug the right wall, this guard will aggro on you. And then just start pushing it towards him. Push downwards all the way first, because he still won't aggro until you push it this way once. And then by the time he aggroes, the pressure plate's in the way. So he'll swing at you maybe. But take your time to line this up so you're looking straight towards that, and then get on this platform. And you're good to go. Everything is fine. So there's a slightly faster, not slightly faster, there's a decently faster way of doing it. That's it's been used lately. So all you're doing is push this guy into this corner. You don't want to push him too far in the corner. I don't know why that happened, whatever. If you push him too far in the corner, I'll try to show that off, but it's kind of hard to do. Push him too far, he'll bounce and then land on your back, which is not optimal, so don't do that. So you want to push him so that he is right there. I did that twice in a row. That's actually kind of impressive. It's really hard to have him fall through the universe. Oh, there it is. So you want to get them into the corner like that. And then there's a few different setups for how to actually get the boost. One setup is hold up, hold right, and then dash. And you'll sometimes get a nice dash from that and go over. Another way to do it is to turn slowly to the left until your tail is beyond the little top rolling part of this torture device, and then dash, and that'll sometimes boost you up like that, except not as far that way. Sometimes you can just, the way I used to do it is to turn towards the rolling thing and then just keep turning up and up and left and up and left and up and left, and it'll eventually boost you over it. So there's a few different ways to try there, and I would try, if one doesn't work, I would try the other one, and I would kind of cycle through them, because sometimes one will work and the other ones won't, so it's kind of worth doing. So definitely... so that's probably something to try out. We're still figuring out some of the setup stuff for it, but try those 3 different setups and make it work. So we have this here now. One way you can do this, just wedge yourself between the, you should be running like this. Wedge yourself. If you do this and you're not running, you're not in the right place. If you're doing this, you're not lined up correctly. You want to do it where you're running like this, between the torch and the stock. And then, I mean, one way you can do this, just dash and just keep trying, keep dashing, and eventually you'll get launched up here and you can grab this key and you can go. One way of doing it as well is to get in here and you want to look down until you start kind of crawling like this, and then look left until you start running again. And you want to dash right at the peak of when in Yono's gate, when Yono's like the highest, like the front feet are up. If you do that, like as the front feet are at their highest point and they're sticking up, if you dash after doing that setup, it should send you over here. So if the second way isn't working for you, you can just go for it. Just hold down left and dash. But either way, no matter what you do, you'll get up here. You want to use this key, you can grab it, and then go here and just use the key. You can sometimes clip inside of that fence that's there if you use the key from here. It'll sometimes take you into this fence a little bit early, but you're frozen during the cutscene, so it doesn't save too much time. Small elephant make big jump. Yes, it's true. Okay, so there is I don't think it'll work for me. It'll be funny if it works in the tutorial, but one thing you can do is a tilt here, where you do down left in between the guard on that ramp, and then look down, and then tap down so you're looking there, and then just dash a whole bunch. It'll get you in this corner with this, and then you want to tap. I tapped way too much. I'll try it once. I will not guarantee this will work, but you hold left down, stop, down. Yeah, the tilting is new. The main place we use it is Acorn Woods, 'cause that's the most consistent use of it. Though this is definitely a use of it potentially. So do these dashes until you're looking straight up. And you just want to tap just a little bit to the left, enough so that it redirects you that way. I think I did a little bit too much, but the premise of it is you want to do it enough where you get into this corner, and then the motion's going to be, since Yono's facing left, we want to flick our analog stick to the right and then go straight up, and we're going to try to go onto those rooks that are right there. So like that. Unfortunately, we didn't get any height with that. I'll try it one more time just to see if it'll work, but this is not the strat I do. I'm not super comfortable with it compared to Zavade, so if you are getting into the run, definitely look at the Discord and see if we've found some more consistent setups for it and some things that'll make it a little bit easier. But the other way of doing this is pretty comparable to it time-wise. This is a little bit faster if you get it quickly. So I'll try it one more time, at least to show off that you get some height from it. So go in here, go. There you go. Okay, so I wasn't getting the height that you should get off of it, but you get a decent bit of height, and you can just barely make it onto these rooks right here and launch yourself by doing those setups. The other way of doing it, the way that I've been doing it, is you activate that, you come in here, and you're going to... So this room takes like an entire minute to do casually, or to speedrun this room without doing the skip takes about a minute. The faster way of doing it, I think there's a way of like going here and dashing to get up here. I really don't know. I don't think I've ever done it. But the way I do it is just go wedge myself between the wall and this water bucket and just wiggle to my heart's content. Then the setup for this is you want to tap down on the D-pad so that you slide into place like this. Once you slide into place, you're good. Then you need to use your keyboard and use the right arrow key or the D key to kind of move you into place. And I'll show kind of how it should look. I'll try to get myself like in the perfect kind of show of what the position should be. So tiny bit hard to see, but there's like on Yono's body, it's not perfectly circular. There's a point in the middle part of Yono's hoof, paw, foot area. There's a point in the middle of it, and that point. Actually, I moved a little bit too far. Let me actually put it in the right place. Almost. So you want that point to be right where you see that dark line in the bucket. You want us to be able to see a tiny bit of that, but you want the middle of the foot where that point is. You want it to be right along the left side of the rim of the water bucket. And if you've set it up like that, you can see a little bit of it. This might not work completely because you can see a little bit too much of it, but if you think you have it right, then press W or up so that you look all the way up. And then do that, and then interact. Okay, so wasn't completely right because my tapping was weird, but let me do it all together once. I think me explaining it is distracting me. But anyways, so let's do. So line it up like there, where you can see the indent in the bucket. Tap up, tap left, and then interact with it by pressing the trunk button. And it'll launch you. That was almost it. It's very, very precise with it and sometimes a little bit finicky. So bring ourselves into place. There, up, left, use. Wow. Okay, that was actually even closer than before. We were centimeters, millimeters, pixels away. That one, I don't know why I tried that. I had the wrong setup for it. Whenever you do tutorials, you're cursed to always mess this trick up over and over again. There's a video on the setup in the Yono Discord, so I shouldn't be messing it up as much as I am. So, two places you can end up when you do this launch. You either will end up on this out of bounds seam up here, and you'll just want to walk all the way down here and go in, or if you get the better launch, you'll get launched straight into here and you just walk out here. So, but I would recommend looking at the video for the setup for it, just so they explain a little bit more concisely what to look for when you're doing it, and we can also explain it a little bit better if you have questions about it. This room's easy in comparison. You just push this block, you wedge yourself in between here, so you just go in between and then look left. Then you need to look towards the gate and dash, gets you on here. And then the next part's pretty easy. You walk towards the box. The box will give you a boost up here. Don't ask why you can push the box into the gate. You just can. It's the only place in the game where you can do something like that. But you can clip it into there, and it lets you bounce off of it and get up here easily. So then if you're doing it this way, you throw dynamite here, and these rooks switch. If you do it the tilt that's over there, you won't have to do this because the rooks aren't in the way. So we have this room here. Just use this. If you dash towards it, it cancels the animation. So the animation cancels, so you can walk through here quicker compared to if you do this, you can't move during it. You have to wait. It's like a really small optimization, but you know. If you're trying to go faster, you might as well go fast everywhere. So you just walk through here. So remember that save we made forever ago and the reason you can't save the entire run? It's actually important now. This is the final boss. What you want to do, so what we're trying to achieve is we want to start the boss fight and we want to transfer Yono to a different location, but with the progress of having beaten the boss. So without looking at the code, I assume the way it works is that it flags the boss has been beaten before you even finish the boss, because the only way to leave Queen's Dungeon, or even this room once you've started the boss fight, is to beat the boss. So it already flags that you've beaten it at this point, or some sort of flag is set. And then, if we load our save, we're actually loading a save into the area you go into after you fight the boss, so the NPCs there we need to talk to. So what we want to do is we are going to trigger the boss fight to start, but before we trigger it to start, we're going to load that save we made. And if we do it at just the right time, as the save is loading, we can start the boss's cutscene, and it will give us the status of having beaten the boss without having beaten it. So we can just skip the entire final boss fight. So the boss, I can just show this. You see how there's these planks here? You have the first plank, second plank. Once you get all the way to the edge of that third plank, with the little where it cuts off from the fourth one, that is when the boss fight starts. If you miss it, if you accidentally start the cutscene without loading your save, just load the latest save, and you should be fine. So what you want to do, and this is like the real consistent way of doing it, put your toesies right next to it, as close as you want to get. If you mess it up, you just load the latest save and you're fine. So you can do this on the move as well, and it's sometimes easier to do it on the move. But if you're really having trouble with this, just line up your toes with it, load the save, and just mash the dash key. Mash it until the screen goes white. Don't do what I just did, never mind. Okay. I forgot, you actually have to be moving during it or it won't let you dash, I think. So you want to walk up to it, and then as you're about to get to the third plank, I forgot that it doesn't let you do that. I thought it did. That's weird. Anyways, so as you're moving towards it, you want to pause. That's a good time to pause there. So as you're about to get to it, you got momentum going forwards. Right before you hit that third plank, you want to pause, load the save, and as soon as the menu goes away, you should see that cutscene start. If you don't see the cutscene start, load the autosave. Usually that takes you back to the Hangman's Arena. If it doesn't, it means the save's bugged out, and that's kind of unfortunate, and sometimes does that and takes you somewhere it shouldn't. But for the most part, you should be able to get the save warp on the first try during runs once you practice a little bit. The important thing is, when you spawn into this room, it still thinks you're in the cutscene, and the game will not let you move because of that. You have one input. You can do one input, you can do whatever you want. The input you want to do is pause. You want to pause the game. Once you pause the game, so if I unpause right now, I'll be frozen and I have to Alt F4. If you ever do that, if you accidentally do something instead of pause, just Alt F4 and reopen the game. You lose a little bit of time, but you can just load the latest. If you load the latest save, the glitch still happens. What you want to do instead, though, is pause, quit game, and just mash and do latest. This guy will be here, and you'll be able to talk to him. He has 4 lines of dialogue, so you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it'll go down. Or I guess 4, and then you have to cancel it. But either way, so don't overmash, because if you overmash, you do this thing where you keep talking to him over and over again, and it's kind of annoying. So once you talk with him, you have to talk with him because it makes the portal appear. Once you talk with him, just leave, and this should look familiar because it's where you save from. The guards won't be in the way this time because we're in a post-boss state, so there's no guards in the way, so you don't have to do the skip again. Just go through here and just walk your way back. You can do a little bit of dash here, save a tiny bit of time. So instead of going and doing the chicken skip like before, just go on here. And you are pretty much at the end of the game at this point. Just walk around this guy, walk through this portal, and you are pretty much done. Just walk between these two and go here. There's gonna be a bunch of dialogue. Once it pops up, just use your mouse wheel to spin through it all, or mash X and square, and it should be good. But yeah, that is the entirety of any %, no major skips. If you have any questions about the run, leave them in the Yono Discord. We have a lot of good information there. If anything was unclear, feel free to leave a comment on this video and I can try to help with that as well. Hopefully some more people pick this game up. I wanted to make sure there was a guide that had 90%, 99, or like 99% of the current stats with it, minus the tilt that's in Queen's Dungeon, and just have that out there so people had a nice resource for this if they needed any explanations for things, or at least just kind of a nice guide to follow while they're learning the game. Definitely watching the record is a good resource for learning a few things and just knowing the general route, but hopefully this will help if people need a small reference on things. And I can make individual videos on certain skips and tricks as we either find consistent setups for ones that were a little bit less consistent, or if we find new skips as well. I was thinking of making this like a segmented sort of video where there's a bunch of there's like different episodes of it, and I can just change out those videos instead of changing out the entire thing. But you know, this was kind of a spur of the moment thing, so hopefully this was helpful for at least parts of it.